Okay, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Scott Lamont, Vice President of Marketing with Synergist Software. Welcome to our live webinar, and thank you for joining. Today, we're going to get inside the challenges that may be holding your company back from more efficient projects and operations, reduced risk, lower operating costs. The challenges we're going to address are common whether you're a utility, a manufacturer, a processing plant, mining facility, offshore rig, or a campus facility, really anything almost. By the end of the webinar, you'll see a clear path forward to getting your workforce on the same page, working from one source of truth, eliminating data and department silos, ensuring everyone can find what they need to collaborate efficiently from anywhere, and a way to protect your digital assets and the intellectual property that they contain. So first, a couple quick housekeeping details about the webinar. You've all been brought in as listen only for the presentation. You can ask questions at any time during the webinar using the questions section of the GoToWebinar panel. And we'll answer them during the Q&A session, or perhaps as we go. We'll ask for your participation in a couple of polls along the way, and we really appreciate your participation in those. So I'm Scott. I've been with Synergist for 30 years. I've had the opportunity to help hundreds of clients transform their business with engineering, document management, workflow, and collaboration solutions that we've developed. It's great to be here with you all. Joining me today also is Craig Schuler, Solutions Architect. Craig's been with Synergist for about 7 years now, and in this field for over 20 years. He'll be guiding you through a 15-minute overview of the Adept software in just a bit. And if you take a closer look at Adept after this webinar, there's a good chance you'll be working more closely with Craig, and you'll be in very good hands. All right, so what are we covering? First, we're going to take a closer look at some of the key challenges that organizations are facing that impact project and operational efficiency, operating costs, and risk, in a section that we call Facing the Lion. Following that, Craig will provide a 15-minute overview and show you how Adept can address some of these challenges. From there, I'll provide an overview of our EasyStart implementation program, which has helped many of our clients become more efficient, secure, and collaborative in just a week or two. At the end, we'll take your questions. But first, a quick poll for you to understand really what's top of mind. So let me get that poll launched here. Give me one sec. All right. So when you consider the challenges your organization, let's launch that poll. When you consider the challenges your organization faces today, which of the following is most important to you? A single source of truth that aligns your teams, fast document access to the right version, automated workflows, and simplified collaboration, securing your intellectual property and having a built-in audit trail, or perhaps all of those are really important to you. Take a moment, click through the radio button there, make your selection once you've had a moment to digest that. All right, we've got some good results coming in here. And wow, let me give you just another 5 seconds if you haven't made your selection. I'm going to close this out and then share the results. So sharing the results now, you can see that really everybody's kind of in the right place here, because sounds like you need all of those for the most part, many of you. Those are of interest to all of you. So that's great to hear. We've got a solution that really addresses a lot of those problems, and we'll start talking about that now. All right, so I'm going to hide that, and we're going to continue on here. Facing the lion. A good friend and a mentor of mine used this phrase with me once in a letter. She was letting me know in no uncertain terms that if I really wanted the results I was looking for, I'd have to face the lion, otherwise known as really hard stuff, head on. So there's a good chance many of you are here today because you're seeing how the challenges you're facing have to be addressed if you want to optimize your business results and be more competitive. The truth is, without addressing these core problems, you're lacking the foundation you need to operate efficiently, eliminate silos, complete projects faster, improve quality, increase worker safety, ease compliance with industry regulations, and really transform your business. So let's dig in. But for most organizations, your documents are distributed, right? They're across drives, servers, and locations. Beyond that, there's files on individuals' hard drives and email inboxes. Many of those are duplicates of what's up on the network somewhere, and there's paper copies too. The scary truth is that documents are all over the place. They're buried in complex folder structures. If you're like most companies, each department or discipline has their own way of organizing folders and projects. They know how to get to their information, but no one else does. And of course, if you've grown through acquisition, as many of our clients have, it's likely there are exponentially more ways files are stored and managed. In most cases, there's no company-wide standards for folder organization and management. And within all these folders, there are often rampant duplicates. Because there's no check-in, check-out process, people are overwriting each other's work without even knowing it. As if that wasn't enough, many of your people are remote too, where previously you had 2 or 4 locations. In light of our current global conditions, you may now have 200 or 2,000 remote home offices, or some much higher number than you previously had. Besides your home workers, you've got field and plant workers too. And they all need fast access to information, and that's just not happening. Where you previously, so you can see on the chart there, it's just chaos. It's kind of a mess. And even if a document is found, how can you be sure it's the right version? To be productive and avoid expensive mistakes, everyone needs to know they're accessing version correct information every time. Without a system to take care of all this, it's virtually impossible for most businesses. The customer that originally hired us to develop what is now known as Adept, our flagship product, built part of a paper machine against an incorrect revision of a drawing. It was a really costly mistake for them. And to this day, stories like these that lead some organizations to finally address a known vulnerability. And what happens if you can't find something? Valuable time is wasted recreating it. Think about all the missed opportunities for repurposing content that people have already created just because no one knew it existed or they couldn't find it. And let's face it, for those of us working at home, increased internet and VPN infrastructure demands can create connection and performance challenges, and the right platform may be able to help you avoid these challenges. So with all of this, it's no surprise that study after study shows employees are wasting 20 to 30% of their time looking for information. It's pretty staggering. According to a McKinsey report, employees spend 1.8 hours every day, 9.3 hours per week on average, searching and gathering information. Put another way, businesses hire 5 employees, but only 4 show up to work. The 5th is off searching for answers, but not contributing any value. According to IDC, the International Data Corporation, the knowledge worker spends about 2.5 hours per day, or roughly 30% of the workday, searching for information. Let's break that down for a moment. An organization with 200 employees has a total of about 31,000 work hours per month across those employees, assuming some vacation time. We know companies spend 20 to 30% of their time searching for information. So at even the low number, 20%, 6,200 hours are being spent per month. Opportunity cost, you see there, is the hourly value of an employee. What value can they contribute to the company? I've used a low $50 per hour in this case, but most companies want to get a 2 to 3x return on each employee's salary plus benefits. But even at that low rate, $50 an hour, this is $310,000 per month invested trying to find the right information. Now let's say you could reduce wasted time or searching time from 20% down to 5%. Companies in this category are wasting less time and saving nearly $2.8 million per year. All right, $232,000 a month is saved, and that's about 2.8 mil. Now, even if you're an exceptional company, super efficient, your workforce is only spending 10% of time searching for information, not 20 or 30%. Just becoming 5% more efficient still offers $930,000 of savings per year. If you want to talk more about ROI on document management, just let us know. We can work with you one-on-one, and we also do an ROI webinar from time to time as well. But the challenges don't end there. Oh no. Without a common document management platform for the enterprise, document collaboration and sharing is chaotic at best. Ask yourself, how streamlined can collaboration be if there's no system that keeps everyone on the same page? If there's no visualization tool with multi-user markup to support collaborative design reviews? Your document workflows and approval routing are done manually, requiring human intervention at every step. There's no system acting as a traffic cop, automatically routing documents so they follow a predefined review and approval process, streamlining your engineering change or any other workflow process that your company may have. No one has any visibility to where a document is in the workflow process, or how long it's been there, or where it goes next. Time is wasted, not just for one person, but several people. Everyone is impacted. And there's no time-based alerts that bring attention to workflows that are running behind, to bottlenecks in the process. There's no automated notifications letting people know that something has completed the approval process. So without automated workflow, the result is chaos and inefficiency. Work moves slow, and mistakes are made that could be costly. On top of that, your CAD users struggle to maintain complex file relationships like XREFs or Inventor or SolidWorks parts, assemblies, and more. And document management solutions from the CAD vendors are so focused on the CAD tool, they don't address the needs of the rest of the organization very effectively. And with dozens or thousands of users accessing files, including viewing, markup, editing, printing, moving, renaming, deleting, there's no audit trail of who did what, when. With no traceability, how can you protect your intellectual property or support litigation or work through a compliance issue with an auditor? And how do you control at a very granular level the type of access various users and groups have to documents across the enterprise? Because the granularity is what's missing. And perhaps most important, your digital assets and the intellectual property they contain are not secure. With dozens, hundreds, or thousands of users accessing files directly across various enterprise services from remote or home locations, how do you ensure your files are protected? Consider for a moment the value of your digital assets, your documents. Well, it varies based on the document type and the company. Let's say on average, A document takes 5 hours to create, some time to review, rework, and approval, that type of thing. Now, those numbers may be very different from business to business, but let's just say, for example, the cost to create and approve a document is about $1,000. In an organization with 100,000 documents, you're managing $100 million in digital assets. And that's not considering the most important part, the value of the intellectual property contained within those documents. What's that one? According to the annual cybercrime report, cybercrime costs the world $6 trillion today. And that number is expected to be $10.5 trillion by 2025. We're talking about intellectual property theft, phishing, ransomware, and more. One of our customers, North Alabama Fabricating Company, shared a story at our annual customer event. They were hit with a ransomware attack. And the only data that wasn't impacted was the information they already had migrated under Adept's control. The New York Times shared that there have been $600 billion in losses sustained by US companies from IP theft. Pretty staggering. And according to Fortune, 1 in 5 US companies say they've had intellectual property stolen. We're really just scratching the surface here. There's just no way to keep your remote enterprise efficient, secure, and collaborative. No way to make your enterprise content secure and appropriately accessible without a common platform that ensures a single version of the truth and provides a unified view of enterprise content regardless of where the user is and regardless of where the content is. That makes document access fast and easy and ensures access to the correct version every time, eliminating duplicate files and accidental overwrites, making collaboration easy and effective while automating workflows and notifications, integrating with your mainstream CAD tools, keeping those file relationships intact as files get checked in and out, routed through workflows, renamed, and so forth. Maintaining a bidirectional link with your CAD attributes and properties so you're not doing redundant work, data entry work, and enabling native CAD file visualization so your non-CAD users, people in the field, on the floor, can view, mark up, and compare hundreds of file formats. And then maintaining an audit trail for each activity on a document throughout its lifecycle. Providing your document controllers with very granular control over document access and protecting your digital assets right where they are without scrambling your folder and file names or moving them to a proprietary database. So addressing all of these challenges is the line that you must face to transition from chaos to clarity and efficiency, and to create a digital foundation that serves your company and empowers it to grow. So Craig's now going to take you through a 15-minute overview of the solution. We'll just be scratching the surface. You can set up Adept to do very simple, basic things. You can take it further. We'd certainly love to show you more at some time. 15 minutes is what we have for today. And then we'll circle back and talk about the EasyStart program, the most affordable and efficient way to overcome these challenges. Craig?
Thanks, Scott. Can everybody see? Can you see my screen now, Scott?
Yep, I got it.
Perfect. I just want to remind everybody that if you have any questions about what Scott's been covering or about what you're going to see now, don't hesitate to type in your questions in the Q&A panel there, and we'll be happy to address them at the end of the presentation. So on the screen here now, you see the Adept web client. This is one of the interfaces that your users can use to start addressing all the needs that Scott's been talking about. Here you see just a basic list of all the documents that I have based on a simple little saved search. If I go back to my home screen here for a second, you can see Save Searches are simple little buttons that users can click on and take you right to that list of results. Or you can do a number of other search criteria type searches if you want. Full text searching would be one of them. If I type a word or a phrase in the upper left-hand corner, you can see I get a list of results. That just searched all the text content of the document. So inside my Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PDFs with OCR data, as well as inside your CAD drawings like AutoCAD, Inventor, SolidWorks, and MicroStation, we can search all that general text content, giving you a whole new way to find documents, looking for asset tag numbers, an electrical wire number, a project number, whatever it might have in those documents and drawings. In addition to searching on the full text, you can also take advantage of searching on other fields of information. I know my file name starts with the number 5, and I know the project number starts with the number of 5. And I'm going to do a search, and I'm going to get a list of results. That just did a multi-field search where I was searching, the file name and project number. That really gets into all the metadata fields and properties of information that you as an organization decide you want to track about your documents. This view we call the data card is just an example here of all the fields you could track. You can decide what fields you want. You can have different tabs of information that correspond to different users or different groups of data, and you decide what gets put here. You decide what the pull downs contain that users can pick from in a list. You can also create smart lists or related fields so that the fields work together. When I update the project manager to Bill, it put the new phone numbers and email address in there for me for him. This is all configurable data and content that you can decide how it can work for you to create searchable resources. A couple of different ways that you can fill in these fields of information. You can extract data out of the documents themselves. So for example, my AutoCAD drawings might have title blocks. I can extract that title block attribute data out and then have it automatically populate the data card, creating a bi-directional link where I update the title block, it updates the data card, or vice versa. You can do that kind of mapping for lots of different file types like AutoCAD, Word, Excel, Inventor, SolidWorks, as well as MicroStation too. You can see a thumbnail of the native file here, or you can pick from different data cards for different types of users also here. I've got a simple little data card for shop users and users on the shop floor. It just has a couple of fields for them to search on. Everything you see on the data card becomes a searchable resource with the search card. The columns of data you see displayed here are configurable by each Adept user so they can see the data that makes most sense to them. And there's other ways you can search and find files too. Another way is something we call the file guide view, which is where you can find your files based on a Windows folder-like structure. So here I'm going to sort all the documents by project name and then discipline, two of the fields I have on my data card. So here's the project I'm looking for, and then here's all the documents for that project, and here's the floor plan for that project, from a discipline perspective. A file guide view is a Windows folder-like structure that allows you to find documents with just a couple of clicks and not have to actually type in criteria. These are a configured view by your Adept administrator that you can really focus on how your user community will look for documents and give them ways with a couple of clicks to find them. Or you can always use your traditional Windows folder structure. We call this the library browser. And this is where I can just drill into the folders like I'm used to seeing on my J, X, or K drive or whatever it is. This is, gets into a little bit about how Adept creates a vaulted environment. As Scott mentioned, we do not rename, scramble, or encrypt your files in a proprietary structure at all. We leave them as they are in Windows and just wrap around them, turning off Windows access, and now your users will access documents through one of the Adept interfaces. If I highlight a document here I'm always guaranteed to be accessing the latest version of that document. So when I click on this drawing, this is the latest release. If I pick the document dashboard across the bottom, then I can see a whole bunch of additional information that Adept automatically tracks about your documents. Scott mentioned checkouts and check-ins. That's going to create a revision history on the version tab for you here. So when this file is checked out, that'll automatically create the next version, and then I have a revision history automatically created. On the Children tab and in the Where Used tab, and in this area on the left-hand side here, we can see a tree structure. This starts to show you all the references that we extract out of the CAD documents and all those relationships that we're going to maintain and keep healthy, no matter if you rename or move or are working with those assemblies or parts inside of the native CAD applications. Here's a tree structure for a SolidWorks assembly as an example. I look at the Children tab, I can see what version each child is, or if I look at the Where Used tab, now I can look back up the tree and see what parents a child might have. Whole bunch of information that we're tracking and managing in the Adept database about our parent-child relationships that you can easily make available to your user community. Scott mentioned an audit trail. Here you see a list of all the events that have happened to this document in its life cycle from the time it was first checked in. And when it was copied, when it was viewed, when it was renamed, approved, rejected, any event that happens to the document in its life cycle, we track and manage those events. This is all searchable, reportable data. So if you're working with any type of a government ISO or FDA or some sort of a standard that you have an audit process, this information can be invaluable to help you really succeed in your audits. Thumbnail here gives you the ability to see a preview of the document, or built into every Adept license is a viewing tool that will let you view hundreds of file formats without having those native applications. So here in this case, I'm viewing a 3D SolidWorks file. I can explode it inside the viewer, kind of take it apart. I can do a cross or a cut section to see how it goes together and move that, to a different angle. You can see I can rotate and revolve things around. We can also view 2D files. Here's me viewing that 2D drawing also. Within the 2D world, we can turn off and on different layers and blocks. We can take measurements if we wanted to get a measurement for like a reference purposes out in the shop. Or we also have the ability to turn on a markup tool. In both 2D, 3D files, or any file that you view with the viewing technology built in, you can view hundreds of file formats, and then you can mark them up, giving a non-editing user the ability to add comments or notes very easily to a file. This isn't editing the file. This is just adding a markup to the file that travels with this file's revision history through the Adept system, allowing a user to convey information back to other users electronically. But once I've added the comments and notes, maybe I'd like to assign this to someone for a review process. So I'm going to assign it to a user named Adam. So now this document will get added to Adam's to-do list. I'm going to send him an email notification letting him know that I've assigned those comments to him for a review. This gets into the Adept workflow engine that can easily help you to track and manage a workflow or an approval process. I'd like to switch into a little bit of an AutoCAD hat for a second here. I've mentioned CAD files a couple of different ways in how we can extract data and integrate with the CAD documents from AutoCAD Inventor and SolidWorks. Another thing we also do is we offer this task pane inside of AutoCAD. This would allow an AutoCAD user to easily interact with documents that are maybe assigned to them. I just assigned a document to Adam. So let's go look at his assigned list. He's going to see there's that drawing that was assigned. He can view it. He can decide if he needs to check it out or not. And then he can just drag and drop it into AutoCAD, check it out, and start making changes to it. The task pane allows CAD users to basically focus on their CAD work while interacting with documents that are in the Adept Vault. You can check out and check in, you can copy, you can look at revision history, you can participate in workflow. This is a quick little interface we call the task pane that's movable around, can move it to another monitor, allowing users to easily interact with those documents in the Adept Vault. I'm going to make a simple little change to this drawing as an example. And now I would save those changes and start, and move on to the next drawing that I might need to make changes to or things like that. So the task pane is available both in Inventor, SOLIDWORKS, and in AutoCAD there. A third interface that some of your users might also interact with is something we call the desktop. This is an interface that's used by the Adept administrator to do a number of configuration tasks. It's also used to create a transmittal, and it's used to by users that are a little bit more heavy in the document control world or in with the CAD files. So doing more heavy lifting with documents, I would say. I want to show you one other feature here built into the viewer also here. You'll notice here that this drawing here is checked out, and I can see here that there's a number of revisions here. Built into the viewer is also the ability to compare different versions. So you can see here I'm comparing version 10 to version 12 of that document, and then the viewer has a built-in overlay that it does when you compare. So I can see geometry that was deleted from version 10 to version 12, or I can see geometry that was added here where a wall was moved. So this overlay ability gives you the ability to understand as documents go through a change process, if the changes that were requested were done, if any other changes were done, or what's really been changed within a document content. This is a graphical compare. You can compare 2D and 3D files, pictures, PDFs, any file that's graphical. So that's built into the viewer also. So you saw me check out this drawing a second ago here, and I made a change to it. I'm going to check it back in now, and I'm going to put it through a workflow process. Built into Adept is a workflow engine that allows documents to move through an approval process. So now that document's been checked in, and it's going to go I'm going to have an email notification here that's sent to a group of users called CAD managers in a review process we've defined as design review. Inside of Adept, you can have a very simple workflow, check out and check in, or in this case, I have a couple of additional steps that this document will have to go through before it's approved. If we look at any one of the Adept clients, I'll use the web client as an example here, and I'll go to my inbox, and I'll look at all the documents that are in a status of review. I can easily see a list of documents here that are in review processes I can participate in. Here's that drawing that I just moved along. The dashboard, if I bring that back up, I can look at the workflow tab, and I can see the steps that make up this workflow. This is just an example of a workflow. Inside of Adept, your Adept administrator can create as many workflows as you need. You can define different steps that make up that workflow, and different ways you want to route a document. And then using any of the Adept interfaces, I can easily approve or reject a document. In this case, I'm going to approve it. I've required a comment. So now that document will move on to the next step in the workflow, allowing for the project manager step to be finished, and that requires 2 approvals. There's many different ways that workflow can be configured to really fit around your workflow process. If you want to use workflow. One other thing I want to mention is a lot of organizations we work with also have a need to send packages or transmittals or sets of documents outside to a vendor or a third party or a contractor or some external party that they want to have documents reviewed or approved. Built into Adept is a transmittal generator that will create a cover letter for you. So if I highlight this existing transmittal here, you'll see how there's a list of documents that were sent out. On the Children tab, I can see what version each document was when it was sent. On the Transmittal tab, I can see, on May 24th, 2017, Adam sent Elizabeth this list of documents. And the Adept environment created for me automatically this cover letter. This is just an example of a cover letter. You can put whatever logo you want and whatever content, but I didn't have to type any of this in. This was all generated based on me creating the transmittal form inside of Adept and then creating the appropriate attachments. It filled in all these columns based on the metadata that's on my data card. And now I've got this package of documents ready to send out. There's a built-in command which gives you the ability to track who you send what to when, all inside our transmittal tool. At a very granular level, not only do I know this transmittal has this list of documents, but I also know if I highlight a specific document and look at the Where Used tab, I could identify what transmittals this document's been used on. So very, very detail-oriented ability to track in your transmittal process. That could be used for an internal or an external process. It's really up to you how you use it. We have some companies that use it for work orders, actually, out on the shop floor. Through all the interfaces and through this whole process, Adept is giving you the granular security control that you need to manage your documents and the data surrounding them. Built into Adept, we have users and groups, and then you have the ability to define what rights users do and don't have, whether they're viewers, editors, workflow managers, or document management level. You can easily fine-tune each role to allow users to have access to the appropriate documents in the appropriate way, whether it's editor, reviewer, or whatever. Okay, Scott, I think that's a good 15-minute overview. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Okay, super. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. Let's see. Let me get that flipped back over to me here. All right. Craig, you're seeing my screen okay? Okay.
Yes, I am.
All right. Super. Thanks, Craig. Again, if you want to see more, you want to go deeper into workflow or transmittals or replicated file vaulting or really anything, just let us know. We'd be happy to put together a personalized, first of all, learn a little bit more about your requirements and then put together a personalized demonstration for you. That was a bit of a crash course, but I covered a lot of ground. Hopefully it gave you a good overview. So with so many of you new to Synergist today, I'll share just like a 3-minute overview of Synergist before we jump into the EasyStart program. So Synergist has a wealth of experience with engineering document management spanning 3 decades, having launched our first solution back in '91. We're truly unique in the tech space in that the average tenure of our employees is 12 years, with many of us here for decades, actually. And we consider our clients part of the Synergist family. For these reasons and more, we were named the customer service leader in the global engineering information management market by analyst firm Frost & Sullivan. We've successfully completed over 1,000 implementations in more than 35 countries. Our flagship product, Adept, is a proven and trusted brand leveraged by people in every department, with more than 120,000 worldwide users from a variety of companies. Let's look at some of those companies. And here I'm really proud of the work we've done in the past 3 decades, helping some big brands across many industries like General Mills, CMC Steel, Eversource Energy, NASA, Leatherman, Tiffany, Merck, become extremely efficient at managing thousands or millions of documents throughout departments and across the globe. We've also helped hundreds of small to medium-sized companies that aren't necessarily household names gain a big leg up on the competition. Just 2 quick customer stories. Dow Chemical, very high level here. Dow implemented Adept in 2012, migrated over 20 different engineering information management systems into Adept across over 40 locations worldwide. They're managing several $1 billion of Dow digital assets containing their intellectual property. And they've got about 20,000 users accessing several million documents. They've aligned engineering, maintenance, and operations with Adept, managing both as-built and capital project engineering documentation for their plants around the world. Con Edison's one of the most complex electric and gas utilities in the country as they power New York City. They've been using Adept for 6 years now, roughly, and they manage engineering information about their utility infrastructure and their capital projects. They use Adept Integrator to connect their business systems and automate data flow and business processes between enterprise business systems, improving the reliability and safety of their utility network. You may be familiar with G2 Crowd, a trusted software review site with nearly 1 million professionals providing unbiased feedback on software, with the goal of creating a more transparent buying experience. We're really honored that Adept has 30 #1 rankings on G2's Winter 2022 grid reports. Reports, which are based on real customer reviews, highlight Adept's leadership in ease of use, ease of setup, fastest implementation, and best support as some of the key differentiators compared to other products on the market. All right, let's talk about the EasyStart implementation program. EasyStart is our fast-track program to help clients realize the benefits that we've covered today in 2 weeks or less. It's not designed for the large or complex implementation, but we've proven it over and over for a huge array of clients. And if you're not a candidate for EasyStart, we'll tailor an efficient program just for you. EasyStart services to get up and running with basic training is just $6,995 for our Tier 1 program, $99.95 for Tier 2. It's the most efficient and affordable program we've ever offered, and the time to value and the ROI on a program like this is really unmatched. The Tier 1 EasyStart program includes the following services, all delivered remotely. Installation of Adept for your work group or enterprise, configuration of the data card, searching, workflow, check-in and check-out, and more. Configuration of your users, groups, and permissions, vaulting and synchronization of up to 25,000 documents with add-on options for more. Online live user training for up to 15 people. Again, add-on options for more people. Online live administrator overview training for up to 2 people, again, with add-on options for more training. Where Tier 1 is more of a pre-configured system with some options for configuration, Tier 2 offers a more customized implementation with some additional training included. With both options, add-on services are available, and we'll talk through those with you when we evaluate your requirements and goals. We'll make recommendations to help ensure your success. Options might include, we've got a higher document count, more workflows, additional training, and much more. So what's next? Really just 3 steps. Schedule a free discovery call to learn more and get a personalized demonstration if you'd like. See if you qualify for EasyStart, or if you're a better fit for a personalized implementation, and then receive an onboarding plan from us that's really designed for you. And then we'll execute your plan together, and help you create a more efficient enterprise positioned for growth with reduced risk and lower operating costs. So one final poll that I'm going to launch here, and it's really all about how can we help you. So let me get that launched. There we go. Would you like to schedule a discovery call or custom demo with us? That's option 1. You can check as many of these as you'd like. It's multiple answers. Maybe you want to learn more about Adept EasyStart. Let us know. We have a live webinar that's really a demonstration of Adept, a deeper dive on getting control of your as-built and capital project engineering documentation on February 23rd. Let us know if you'd like us to register for you for that. Or maybe you're just doing research right now to determine your requirements, and there's nothing for us to help you with at this moment. Or maybe you're not even trying to solve these problems right now. You can let us know that as well. All right. I'll give you just another 30 seconds or another, say, 15 seconds to complete your voting. We've got a lot of feedback coming in. All right. I'm going to close out the poll, share the results, and it looks like, yeah, pretty broadly spread across the different areas. On behalf of all of us at Synergist, thank you so much, and we look forward to talking with you. We hope you have the opportunity to work with you. Take care. Have a great day.